So they check, and they check, and they check, and they continue to check for over 5 minutes! Are you kidding? Woo! You awake? Hi, friend. Steve Dangle here on the best day of the week, Thursday, because it's time for another edition of Steve's Dang It's, presented by Advil. That's how they asked for it to be pronounced. Advil, right? Did I get the info? We'll check with them after. I'm sure it's fine. I had to take an Advil for the headache I got when I realized that we missed this Dang It last week. Joe Pavelski with the wide open net.
Shooter. Robertson deflects the puck ahead. Picked up by Rope Hintz. The net is empty. Around Spurgeon. In front. And Pavelski misses the empty net.
He went to choke up on his stick and just missed it.
Joseph, you're on my fantasy team, Joe! Come on! Put it in the nets! It's in the nets! This guy on a daily basis stands in front of the net taking cross checks to the spine, and he's able to tip the thing through a hole the size of a chickpea, and he can't put it in the open net! I need an Advil just thinking about it. Joseph. Is it Joseph? Joseph. That's a dang it. For our next dang it, you ever heard of Connor Bedard? I bet you have. Now, listen. This trade deadline, I think, is particularly interesting. There are a number of players available. There's always a number of players available, but what is interesting is things seem to be kicking off early. Vladimir Tarasenko, already gone from the Blues. He's a New York Ranger. Jacob Chychrun, looks like he's played his last game as a Coyote, even though he hasn't been traded yet. Vlad Gavrikov on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Looks like he's played his last game on the Blue Jackets, even though he hasn't been traded yet. So the Tarasenko trade has happened. The Gavrikov and Chychrun trades seem imminent. And the trade deadline often revolves around the race to the top. Like, all these teams want to compete for the Stanley Cup. But what about the race to the bottom? We got all these teams trading all these players, and I think it's gonna happen very soon. And one of the big players involved in that is going to be the Chicago Blackhawks, a team that is already quite bad, and they're apparently going to get rid of everybody. Sam Lafferty, Jake McCabe, Patrick Kane is going to change his nameplate to trade me any day now. And a lot of these rumors with these Blackhawks players seems to revolve around the Leafs in particular. Well, just yesterday, the Chicago Blackhawks come to town. They're in Toronto. On the broadcast, they're even talking about, like, oh, this might be an audition. Here's how the game started.
And Toronto fans can window shop tonight with Patrick Kane reportedly available before the trade deadline. So it'll be interesting to see him. Here's Nylander in, and he scores! It's 9 seconds in, and he has the first goal of the game in back-to-back.
That need to rebound after a bad last game. Boy, did they ever. How about this? D to D up the middle. A classic face in all alone. And how about the patience to the outside as Nylander almost runs out of room as Matthews wins it to his strong side. Here you've got Jake McCabe just stumbles and falls, and Nylander bounces it off the skate of Mrazek. Didn't panic, showed good.
That is chef's kiss. Absolutely perfect. Oh, it might be an audition. Zoom in on Patrick Kane. Face off. Brody, Riley, up the ice to Nylander. Jake McCabe falls down. Nylander scores 9 seconds in. On Petr Mrazek playing his first game back in Toronto after getting traded by Toronto. That right there is a dang it, and they weren't done. That was the Leafs' first goal. They allowed potential future Leaf Sam Lafferty to score a goal against them to tie it up 53 seconds later. That's a dang it in itself. But the Blackhawks, remembering all those Bedard highlights they've watched, said, well, that can't stand. So they decide to do this.
Back the defenseman off.
Fired right back by Tavares. Shot scores! In off Connor Murphy.
Good job of being aggressive. You win the draw, and look at Murphy, kind of had nobody for a second. He ends up in no man's land. The forward is late getting Sandin, and just another good example of to throw the puck to the net. Murphy's looking behind him. He knows he's got Tavares looking for the tap in.
I mean, what more needs to be said? You see it in his reaction immediately. Sandin throws it on. Connor Murphy scores on his own net. That's a dang it. The Leafs make it 3-1. It's called back. They make it 3-1 again. The Blackhawks score in the first minute of the second period. They're still within a goal, but Petr Mrazek if you're a goaltender, turn the goal!
That you can trust them and get them back out there again.
Kind of a get back to basics type of shift. Here's Kerfoot in front, scores! John Tavares from Kerfoot, and they restore the 2-goal lead.
To get an offensive zone, then you get a switch with the Tavares line, and this is just a hard work play by Kerfoot, a no-look pass. A frustration play there. Mrazek gets caught in between. Do I go with my glove? Do I go with my stick? He gets neither. And the one thing you can't do as a goaltender is go the opposite side of the net where the puck is.
Dude, that's a nightmare hop. I don't think I've ever seen that. Like, I've seen a goaltender go behind their net to stop the puck and, you know, try to control things a little bit. And then sometimes the puck takes a little hop on them. I have never, however, seen a goalie go whoops and then try to catch it with their glove. 3 dang-its in a single game. They lost, by the way. That might be the only positive for the Blackhawks in this game. That's a dang it. Getting outside of that game, but staying with the Chicago Blackhawks experience, Andreas Athanasiou. I'll just let you watch it.
Savard couldn't control it, and Andreas Athanasiou with a breakaway. Athanasiou into the net. He knocks it loose. A breakaway for Andreas Athanasiou. And he kicked it in as the net came off its hinges. We'll take a break, show you another look at this one when we return to Montreal.
That is a painful hurricane of emotion. I have a breakaway. Great. I smashed my face into the crossbar. Bad. I scored. Great. They disallowed it. Bad. All of that happened in a span of about 3 seconds. That's a dang it. For our next dang it, I don't think I could replicate it, but the first time I saw this clip, oh, did I laugh. The neighbors heard me for sure. John Gibson, if you're a goaltender, send the guy, can't even just show it.
Penn's trying to stretch it, it just misses Kapanen, but Gibson realizing, oh wow, but the Pens would get there first. He turns it over, and it's a gimme for Jeff Carter.
Those first and foremost is because the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to beat the defenders to the puck, so that way there's not going to be an icing called, and then there's just a little miscommunication between him and Fowler. Looks like Gibby just wants to chip at the cam, and then Jeff Carter, Johnny on the spot.
Okay, who's old enough to remember Mad TV? It's the little leg kick, right? A little, look what I can do, look what I can do. Oh, John Gibson, that's... He tried. If he saved that, it would have been sick, right? Then it would be a hat pick for sure. But unfortunately, that's a dang it. Please show it one more time.
Fowler, looks like Gibby just wants to chip at the cam, and then Jeff Carter, Johnny on the spot.
Thank you for that. I think we all needed that. Thank you. For our next dang it, I say if you're a goaltender, tend the goal, but sometimes that doesn't even work. Because a very key part of tending the goal is knowing where the puck is. And on this particular play, Spencer Knight does not.
Knocked in front once again by Luosterainen. Now here's Krug. I can't see it. It's behind him, and it's in.
A couple shots in a row blocked. One by Gudis, one by Luosterainen. Krug's shot goes all the way through, and when Spencer Knight can't find it, it's going to hit his left foot just outside the post. Deflects into the net. The Blues on the power play.
Like, it's one thing to lose the puck, but like, did it have to bounce that way? We are the Knights who say, dang it. That's a dang it. This next dang it is, people sent us this, and I already watched it once, and I don't want to watch it again, but here it is.
Dillon, an opportunity to clear. He wasn't able to do so. Kept in by Lafferty. Wrist shot into traffic. It hits Samberg. He goes down. He's unable to get up. He is in some pain. A shot stopped by Hellebuyck. Samberg still in a considerable amount of pain there. Did he take that one up high? Trainer quickly out from the bench.
Well, it's been a rough night for Jets players. We've seen Morrissey take one in the ear. We've seen Schmidt take one across the teeth, and I don't believe this hit him high. I think it hit him in the midsection area.
You're right.
But wherever it hit him, he felt it. The big guy dropped quickly as you see this one come through, and it catches him in the spot we never like to talk about on the air. So we'll let it be at that, in the groin area, and that was smart. And he went down. The referees let the play go a bit, and then once it was up.
I'm really glad he got up and everything. That's Dylan Samberg, and to talk about a player willing to do anything to get in front of a puck and help his team win. No, we don't need to watch that again. Don't. That's dang it. Unfortunately, the Jets on the receiving end of this dang it as well follow the bouncing puck.
Alex Wenberg, Tolvanen, and now Dunn. This way for McCann. Blocked it. Pinball's in! I believe off Mason Appleton. Jared McCann, a little pinball wizard action. 26 and a fraction left in the second.
Through the neutral zone, you're able to get the puck set up quickly over to McCann. McCann's going to go for the slap pass to Bjorkstrand. Does go off of Appleton and into the net.
Dude, that was like a low-budget 80s movie goal. Like the high school team needs one to tie it up right before overtime. Whoop. Pucks bouncing everywhere, and they're doing all these zoomed-in shots of the players on the bench looking back and forth. Wide shot of the crowd. Everybody at the same time is in sync. Eventually, it finds its way to the back of the net, and everyone cheers! Except they didn't, because this game was in Winnipeg and the road team scored. That's a dang it. For our next dang it, the NHL will not, cannot get out of its own way. New York Islanders, Montreal Canadiens, overtime in Montreal. 3-on-3 overtime was implemented to get more games that end in overtime, a faster speed, a more exciting product. And you know what? They nailed it. There are more overtime goals, fewer games go to the shootout, the Stars play by far the most, and it results in the home team, the Montreal Canadiens, scoring goal.
Barzal with Parisi driving. Barzal hung on to it, then tried to drop it and turned it over. Hoffman in on a breakaway. Hoffman saves. Varlamov, the rebound, they score! Mike Matheson with 20 seconds left in overtime.
Well, they'll check on it to see if it was offside. It didn't look like it, Brendan. It looked like he had the puck right at the blue line in his skate. And that's got to really upset Lane Lambert on the way of this game. Again, progress through the third period. Brock Nelson's waiting on the bench, so he's waiting for confirmation. So if he leaves, that'll be the telltale sign.
They just stopped Lane Lambert from leaving the ice until they confirm it. And the goal is confirmed. This is going to count, and the game is over.
The Islanders just turn it over. Barzal loses it, and bad timing as Hoffman steps out of the ice, and you can see that play's onside. Big save, and Pelech loses his stick. And Matheson does the smart thing. He just continues to follow the play up.
Now they're actually announcing they're reviewing it. So hold on. They had let Lane Lambert leave the ice. Now they just announced that it's going to be reviewed.
Isn't that great? Well, said the NHL, it might have been great, but what if he was a centimeter offside? And the crowd says, cool, let's check. So they check, and they check, and they check, and they continue to check for over 5 minutes! Are you kidding? No. Like a lot of fans, me, definitely, talk about the NHL being wrong about a lot of stuff. This is something that a lot of fans, me included, were wrong about. That video review would make things better. Why do we have offside reviews? Everyone knows the answer. That's right, because Matt Duchene was 400 meters offside and they couldn't be bothered to blow the play dead. So now this is the Frankenstein monster that we get. So I tell you what, let's pretend Mike Hoffman was like that much. Look at that much offside. Let's pretend that he was literally a centimeter offside. What's the time limit? 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, maybe even give them 3 entire minutes, 180 seconds. If you can't determine in 3 minutes if the dude was offside, let's all leave. Let's go home. The game is over. He wasn't offside by enough. Steve, would you feel that way about a playoff game being decided that way? Don't yell at me! I don't know, dude. Like, really, it's just, it feels like that's an awful way to end an otherwise exciting NHL game. Habs fans have been given so little this season. Like a bunch of Arbor Jackeye fights, 2 wins against the Toronto Maple Leafs, probably soon to be 3, let's be honest. And this game, it shouldn't take that long. That's a dang it. And for our final dang it, Sidney Crosby enters his villain era. He gets kicked out of a game for saying, what's he saying? Love you? It was just Valentine's Day.
There's the coming over part. It wasn't a lot there. It really wasn't. It was a push and a shove. It wasn't that big jerking motion. And Sidney went forward, and then Dursey landed on top of him. And now we get more. We got another 10-minute misconduct coming up. So still a lot of things to sort out.
87 has an additional game misconduct.
An additional game misconduct. So Sidney, frustration, yes, I understand it. Again, the danger in a cross-check is when you just drill a guy with your stick. I thought there was more of a push from Anderson.
Oh, well, Sid. Oh, well, what do you have to say about that after the game?
I don't know. I think it was Anderson was going to the box and saying something to me, so him and I kind of exchanged words, and then next thing I know, I was told I got a 10, which, I mean, can I really say what I think anyway? Let's be honest here, so
Sidney. Now, first of all, Sidney Crosby has been playing in the National Hockey League since 2005, and that's the first game where he's ever got a 10-minute misconduct and a game misconduct? Anyone who's been watching him since the beginning of his career is probably surprised by that. I think he might have repeatedly said a not nice thing to the official, but I'm willing to bet he has said repeatedly many times that very not nice thing to an official. And even though Sidney Crosby does not feel like he can say what he wants to say, oh, I'd love to hear it, Sid. Do you have a Twitter? Do you have a burner? Just let us know. Come on. But that's a dang it. So, that is it for this week's edition of Steve's Dang It's presented by Advil. If we miss another thing, like Joe Pavelski missing a wide open net, I'll be upset, but you let us know. But for now, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. 3 minutes. And that's it. That is it.